good evening. My name is Peter Light. I'm the superintendent of schools, and I am very, very pleased to be welcoming you to the class of 2034 kindergarten registration night. This is a district-wide presentation. I just want to let everyone who is in attendance tonight and our panelists know this is being recorded, and we will be making this available after the presentation to our families. So I can only imagine what it's like to be sitting at home. As I was thinking about a few remarks at the beginning, I was thinking back to the last few years when we've done this presentation and we have an audience full of nervous parents who at least are all in the same place with each other and can be just a little bit nervous together. And so I'm sure being at home, you have a lot of questions around what kindergarten will look like. Needless to say, we're in the middle of a pandemic that has impacted our schools greatly this year. And I'm sure you're all wondering what will happen next year as your kindergartners think of entering school and have questions around that. And then you're just probably overwhelmed, especially if this is your first experience with your children going into school. I can still remember my own son's first kindergarten registration night, and that was the first time we did this as a family. And I still remember that feeling of sitting in the audience, listening to what was happening, and leaving with just as many questions as I had answered during the presentation. So hopefully we can do a little bit better job than that and get to a number of your big questions. I am so pleased to be here with a number of my colleagues across the district. We will let them introduce themselves in one moment, but I'm going to actually turn this over to Marie Altieri, who is our Deputy Superintendent of Schools. And she has been doing this presentation for a few years now, as you will be able to tell. She has mastered this. And she runs our entire kindergarten registration process through her office. So please welcome Marie Altieri, and we will get our program rolling.
Good evening, everybody. It's so great to, I was going to say see you, but to have you here with us this evening. Welcome. Welcome to Acton Boxborough. We're so happy you're here and that we can welcome you to our schools and to talk about all the excitement that is ahead for you and your family and your little one. In some respects, it may seem like you've waited a long time to get here, but this is just the beginning of what we hope will be a very exciting journey. My name's Marie Altieri. I'm the Deputy Superintendent for the school district. Our registrar, Karen Cole, is here. Karen, could you give a wave? Together, we're responsible for registering and placing students in our 6 elementary schools. As you can see, we have many other staff members and principals here for you to meet. So I'm going to ask them to introduce themselves. Given that we're on Zoom here, I'm going to just call you as I see you and have you introduce yourselves. And I'll also ask folks to maybe put their title next to their name so that our audience members can remember. So Damien.
Welcome, everyone. I'm Damien Chagru, principal of the Conant School.
Debbie.
Hi, everyone. I'm Debbie Dixon. I'm the interim special ed director here.
Lynn.
Hi, I'm Lynn Newman, and I'm the principal of the Gate School.
Diane. Diane Spring, you're muted.
Yeah, sorry, struggling with the technology. Hi, everyone. I'm Diane Spring, and I oversee nursing services for the elementary level.
Erin.
Everyone, I'm Erin Betez. I'm the Director of Community Education.
Chris.
Hi, I'm Chris Whitbeck. I'm the principal of Douglas School.
Kate.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kate Murray. I'm the director of the extended day program, the before and after school program here in the district.
Juliana.
Hi, everyone. I am Juliana Schneider, the principal of Miriam School.
Deb.
Hi, everyone. I'm Deborah Bookus, the assistant superintendent for teaching and learning.
JD.
Good evening, everybody. My name is JD Head, and I am the director of school operations.
Dana.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Dana Lab, principal of Blanchard Memorial School.
Jen.
Good evening. My name is Jennifer Lasham, transportation manager for the Acton Boxborough School District.
I have to say, Jen, you get the award for the best background. I love it. I take kids to school. Imagination takes them everywhere else. Awesome. Dawn.
Marie, just as we're going on, it may be helpful if you stop sharing your screen for a minute because I don't think the audience can see everyone.
I am sorry.
That's
Thank
okay.
you.
Good evening. I'm Dawn Bentley, Assistant Superintendent for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. Welcome.
David.
Good evening. I'm David Crane. I'm the principal of the McCarthy Town School.
And Joe.
Hi, I'm Joe Gibowitz, Acton Boxborough's Early Childhood Coordinator.
All right, we got everybody? Thank you. I stopped sharing the screen way too late. All right, go back. All right, so this evening, sorry. As you embark on this adventure, you are surely experiencing a wide range of emotions. I actually live in Acton, and my kids have gone through the AB schools. I actually remember what it was like sitting in your seats and the anxiety involved with choosing a school that feels right for your family. Please try to make this as fun and interesting as you can. Here at Acton Boxborough, we do not have neighborhood schools. As parents, you are able to pick which school you believe is the best fit for your family. That is what you're looking for, simply the best fit. Once everybody registers and enrolls, we will have a lottery for any school which is oversubscribed. Over the next few weeks of attending the virtual information nights for each school, you'll have an opportunity to learn a great deal about education in Acton Boxborough. Here's the timeline for tonight and for the kindergarten registration process. Tonight, we will review the kindergarten curriculum and the process with plenty of time for questions, and we'll end by 8:30 at the latest. After that, starting next week, you'll have an opportunity to attend a virtual information session for each school. We have 2 sessions scheduled on the Tuesday nights between now and February 12th. You'll get the full schedule a little bit later. You'll register online anytime between tomorrow and February 12th. That's when registration will close. So you have between now and then to visit the schools virtually, visit the websites, and then make the best decision you can about your preference for schools. We'll then spend time after that processing all the registrations, and in May, we'll do the lottery and school assignments, and you'll be notified what school your child will be attending. I wanted to take a minute to just sort of talk about COVID-19 and what that has meant for kindergarten. I'm going to tell you sort of what we did this year with the understanding that our hope is that we'll be in full session for kindergarten in September. As we all know, things aren't quite a straight line with COVID, so we will adjust if we need to possibly some other options. So just so you know, normally we have a half-day kindergarten option and a full-day kindergarten option, fully in person. Given the way things went this year, we were not able to offer all-day kindergarten. So we had half-day kindergarten for any students who came in person, and we had half the kids in the morning and the other half of the kids in the afternoon. Our schooling this year in person, we basically could only have half a class in at a time to maintain the 6-foot distancing. So this year's kindergarten, we had morning session or afternoon session 4 days a week in person, and Wednesdays were remote. Families also had the option to choose to go fully remote, and we created a remote learning program for that. And as I said, we did not have all-day kindergarten available this year. Our plans for next year are to go back to our normal kindergarten program, which would be the choice of the parents to have all-day kindergarten or half-day kindergarten. and to have kids attend fully in person. If we're not able to do that completely, we'll be in touch as we go. We'll let you know the plans and if whether there could be partial remote or some variation. All right, as we get ready for school, starting at the end of August or the beginning of September, we don't have the first day of school voted yet. The school committee is looking at that. They're in the process. And when they do decide, it will be posted on our website and we'll send it out through email. Our district is a fully comprehensive pre-K to 12 school district. And this year we have almost 5,300 students. We have an early childhood program, the Carol Hebner Preschool, which has 73 students. We have 6 elementary schools with roughly 2,500 students. We have 1 junior high school for grades 7 to 8 with 831 students. And we have our regional high school for grades 9 to 12 with 1,751 students. And then we have some students attending school outside of the district. Our 6 elementary schools are in different locations in Acton and Boxborough. Blanchard is the one school in Boxborough. It's on Route 111. McCarthytown and Merriam are also on 111 on the main school campus, close to Route 2 and Route 27. McCarthytown and Merriam share one building, and they're on the campus with the junior high and the high school. Conant is across Route 2 on Taylor Road, and Douglas and Gates are both in West Acton. Douglas is on Elm Street and Gates is on Spruce Street. In a minute, I'll tell you a little bit more about that. So here's a picture of McCarthytown and Merriam. Again, it's on the main campus. Conant is on Taylor Road near Route 2. Blanchard is in Boxborough on Route 111, right next to the Sargent Memorial Library. Gates and Douglas are in West Acton. They're about a block away from 111. And Gates is on Spruce Street and Douglas is on Elm Street, but they connect. The playgrounds kind of face each other and there's a little brook between them. You're probably aware that we're in the process, thanks to the generosity and approval of the citizens of Acton and Boxborough. We're in the process of building a new elementary school that will replace Gates and Douglas. So the new school is being built next to the current Gates school. It's actually well in progress. We're about to put steel in the ground. And it is anticipated to open a year from September, so September 2022. And it's going to have Gates, Douglas, as well as the district's early childhood pre-K program in different portions of the school. The pre-K is actually going to be on the first floor, along with a lot of the shared spaces, cafeteria, the gymnasium, the library, not the library, but the cafeteria and the gym. The second floor is going to be where Gates is located, and the third floor is going to be where Douglas is located. And there's a beautiful library multimedia center that's going to span the second and third floor for all 3 schools. So this is a picture, a rendering of what it's going to look like. And you can drive by there and kind of see it in progress. So again, it will be open a year from September. So our school district, I didn't use this year's enrollment numbers because it was so different with COVID and we had some people remote and some people in person. But last year we had 306 children enrolled and we had 17 sections, so roughly 18 students per class. Our class size guidelines for kindergarten are 18 to 20 students. And we have had somewhere around 300 each of the last few years. When you register, you're going to register online. If you haven't found it yet, there's a full registration website off of our school district website, the abschools.org. And on that registration website, there's lots of information. Everything we're talking about tonight will be there. We'll post the video from tonight. Somebody asked that. Yes, we will share the video. You'll be able to watch it afterwards. But when you're ready to register, there is a link there where you start to put in your information. And as part of that registration process, you're going to specify the 6 elementary schools in your order of preference. And we do ask you to list all 6 because the way the lottery works, it could be that certain schools are full and then it ends up going down further on the list. The lottery will be held in May, and about 95% of families are placed in their first choice. So we have, on any given year, we have between 15 and 25 families who do not receive their first choice at the time of the lottery. What we do at that point is we create a wait list for your first choice. And if you're not in your second choice, you'll be on the wait list for your second choice. And as new families register between now and September, we go down the wait list and we place families in schools that have seats in them. And then that can open up seats in other schools and we can move people into their first choice school. So we often get some number of those 15 to 25 families into their first choice sometime between May and September. So we're constantly working our way through it. Once school starts, we do not move families off the wait list. So we move as many as we can through August, and then once school starts, everybody stays where they are. And then the next summer, if you still want to move, we contact you and we see if we can find space at that point. So here, you'll see throughout the presentation some great pictures of our kindergartners. We chose to use pictures from before COVID. We have a couple pictures of kids with masks. Obviously, our kids in classes today have masks on, but most of these pictures are from the year before. In each of our schools, you'll find caring, experienced principals, a rich curriculum, teachers who are dedicated and caring, diverse, engaged students, parents who are incredibly committed to their children and their school community. And as a result, you will see children who thrive. Let's take a minute to look through a typical day in the life of a kindergartner. One of the most exciting new things your child will experience is the ride to school on the big yellow school bus. Our bus drivers are amazing in their ability to make each child feel safe and to get them to and from the right locations every day. When the children arrive at school, they're greeted by a staff member who brings them to their kindergarten classroom. Typically, the kindergarten day begins with the morning meeting and choice time. The class comes together. The class comes together for morning meeting. This is a time for children to practice listening and sharing skills. It's also a time when children are actively engaged in important elements of the kindergarten curriculum. Morning meeting might include a teacher read aloud, students greeting one another, a turn and talk, sharing and reviewing the day's events. Children have roles as classroom helpers, which provide them opportunities to develop responsibility for themselves and for others. Choice time is a chance for children to transition into the school day, to explore the classroom and to interact with their peers. It is typically structured as guided play. As you will see, there's plenty to do, endless fun to be had, and so much to learn. Instruction occurs in whole class and small group and sometimes one-on-one settings. The kindergarten curriculum provides opportunities to learn social skills as well as all the academic areas. In kindergarten, students learn mathematics through many hands-on activities and manipulatives. These include working with counters and geometric shapes. Kindergarten students also work on a variety of early literacy skills, including letter sounds, sound symbol relationships. They listen to stories at listening centers and, most importantly, experience the joy and love of books and stories. Science in kindergarten is a chance for students to improve their observational skills and to become more aware of the world around them. They investigate weather and changes and patterns in animals and plants. The kindergarten curriculum includes art, music, physical education as weekly specials and integrated into the classroom curriculum. These are critical components to the development of well-rounded students. It is a wonderful time in students' development. The kindergarten day also includes many opportunities to make friends, to collaborate with other students and problem solve, to play in and outside of the classroom, to create, be curious, and to learn social and emotional skills that will carry them through their education. The kindergarten day also includes snacks and recess, field trips and special activities, playtime and creative time. All of these are important components of learning for 5- and 6-year-olds. Children will be offered transportation on the school bus. When you choose a school, please consider that some routes take longer than others. Cross-town bus routes, for example, an Acton student attending Blanchard School could mean an allotted 45 to 60 minutes of travel each way. So just keep that in mind as you select your schools. You don't always need to pick the school closest to your house, but if the further away it is, the more likelihood there is that there'd be a longer bus ride. This picture has some maps that help you kind of visualize that. So the map on the left shows Blanchard, and you can see the white dots are the students who attend Blanchard, and the yellow dot right in the middle is where Blanchard is. So you can see there are many students very close, but we have a few students way over in North Acton. You can see where that arrow is. As you can imagine, it takes quite a bit longer to pick up those kiddos over there and get them to Blanchard. And we end up having to run a longer bus route to pick up enough kids to get over there. The picture on the right is a picture of Conant, and you see sort of the opposite thing happening. So the yellow dot in the middle of the blue is Conant, and again, many kids in the area, quite a few kids in North Acton, but the handful of kids that live in Boxborough are going to be riding a bus where they have to pick up all those kids, and it's going to take quite a bit longer. Just something to think about. Another thing we want to point out is how important it is to have regular attendance in kindergarten. Many absences cause children to fall behind. Missing even 1 or 2 days a month makes it harder to learn, and it's a struggle to catch up. So please do what you can to have your kids attend regularly, plan vacations during the school holidays, check the school calendar. We will be finalizing it in the next couple of weeks, so you'll be able to plan well in advance. Regular bedtimes are good for kindergartners, and sort of having things prepared the night before so that they're ready to get on that bus. All right, so some nuts and bolts about kindergarten. Children must be 5 on or before September 1st to enroll in kindergarten. Younger students may not enroll. So if your child turns 5 on September 1st or before, then they would attend kindergarten this year. We actually say September 1st is the parent's choice. You can go either way. But they cannot attend kindergarten if they're not 5 by September 1st. We offer half-day kindergarten in the morning, and we offer all-day kindergarten. It's a fee-based program. It costs $3,750 for the year. We pay that in 10 monthly payments of $375, And the first payment is due June 15th. The second payment is due August 15th. Might be August 1st. I could be wrong about that. So you'll make a choice whether you'd like all-day kindergarten or half-day kindergarten. The tuition had been $4,500. The school committee worked hard to be able to bring it down to make it more affordable. There are scholarships available for families in need, and you can contact our registrar, Karen Call, for the scholarship application at whatever point you're ready to enroll in all-day kindergarten. So here's the schedule, the sample schedule. So half-day kindergarten is mornings only, starts at 10 minutes of 9 in the morning, 8:50, and it goes to 11:50. And transportation is provided both ways. All-day kindergarten starts at 8:50 and goes to 3:20. That is the same as the school day for students in grades 1 through 6. All-day kindergarten has lunch and some kind of quiet time and recess or 2 recesses built into the day, so that kids have a lot of variety in their activities. We are also likely to have what we call hybrid kindergartens. So in order to provide all-day kindergarten to everybody who wants all day and half-day kindergarten to everyone who wants half day, some of our all-day classes will have some half-day students in the class. We call that a hybrid kindergarten. So it would be a class that goes all day, but half-day students are in the class and would leave in the middle of the day at 11:50. So the core academic subjects are taught in the morning, and the all-day K students have their lunch and their recess and snack and some enrichment activities in the afternoon. So we call that a hybrid kindergarten. By doing this, we're able to grant everybody their choice around half day and all day. We used to have pretty extensive wait lists for all day when we tried to just have separate classrooms in each school for half day and for all day. If we have enough students to fill a half day classroom in a school, we'll run a half day classroom in that school by itself. But most of our classrooms will be hybrid with some combination of half-day and all-day students. We have an early release day once a week. It will be on Wednesdays. We started with Wednesdays this year. We're going to carry that going forward. It used to be Thursdays, but early release Wednesday is for all students, kindergarten through 6th grade, and the Wednesday dismissal time is at 12:50. So whether kids are in half day or all day, on Wednesday, they're going to be there from 8:50 to 12:50. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, half day is 8:50 to 11:50, and all day is 8:50 to 3:20. So you'll have this all written out in a document, and it'll make more sense at that time. So now, how do we decide sort of where to place students? Everybody makes their first choice, second choice, pick all 6 schools in the order you prefer. Once one of your children is in a school, your younger children will automatically be able to attend that same school. One of our core goals is to keep families together in a single school. So siblings of students currently in grades K to 12 attend or attended that elementary school may attend, they get their first choice no matter what. So again, once your oldest child is in a school, your younger children will have priority to go to that school. Some children will have priority to attend a specific school if they are students with disabilities, but only if a team determines that the child must be placed in a specific program in a school. So you'll know that if your child has an IEP, and then the team will meet sometime this spring, and the team decision says that they really have to attend a particular school to have a particular program. Most of our students with disabilities can attend any school. We give priorities to walkers as long as there's room in that school. If they live less than 1 mile safe walk from the school. So if you think you're a walker, you check that box on your registration for the school you want to attend. If you're within 1 mile of that school, a safe 1 mile walk. We then look at all of them and verify them. So please don't say that you're a walker to Merriam if you live in North Acton. We're definitely looking at all the requests. And lastly, there is a hometown guarantee. If you live in Boxborough and you would like your child to attend Blanchard, you have a guarantee that they can attend Blanchard. If you live in Acton, there's also a hometown guarantee if you would like, but all it means is that you can attend one of the 5 schools in Acton. You don't have a hometown guarantee to any one school. So siblings, some students with disabilities, and walkers have priorities to their first choice school, or in the case of students with disabilities, to the school in which the team recommends their placement. Excuse me. This just explains the hometown guarantee, which I just did. Cute picture of the kids on a nature hike there, though. Couple of questions we sometimes get. What if I have twins? If you're registering twins for school and one of them gets into your first choice school, the other one will also get into that school. So basically it falls under the sibling rule. Same thing with all day and half day. If you enroll your children in half day, they'll both get half day. If you enroll them in all day, they'll both get all day, whatever you choose. But whatever school one of them gets into, the second one will also be able to go to that school. We have many children who are English learners, and we have support programs to help. And we have screening for any potential English learners, and we have services available in every school. So you don't need to pick a specific school if you're an English learner. If your child has a disability, as I said before, most students with disabilities can be placed in any of the 6 schools. If your child requires a specific special education program located at a specific school, your child's IEP team will discuss it at the transition meeting. Right, so we have parent information meetings at each school. We're doing everything remotely, of course. So next Tuesday evening at 6:15 will be the Merriam virtual information meeting. Each of these will last an hour. So Merriam's is next week, 6:15 to 7:15. Gates is next week from 7:30 to 8:30. The following week on February 2nd, we have Blanchard at 6:15 and Conant at 7:30. And lastly, on February 9th, 2 weeks from tonight, we have Douglas at 6:15 and McCarthy Town at 7:30. So you'll be able to see all 6 schools in the next 3 weeks. And each school will put on a webinar. There will be some faculty there to help tell you about the school. And I really encourage you to try to tune into those. It's a great way to get the feeling and flavor and curriculum and everything about each of the schools. Now, you don't have to attend all 6. Some people have already done some research on the websites and they know there are 2 or 3 that they're thinking about. Please just attend the ones that you want, but they'll be really informational and helpful to get to know the people in each school community. All right, to register, go to our website, AB Schools, and select student registration, which is right on the top of the main screen for the school district, and then kindergarten registration. If you haven't done this yet, it's really important. We would ask you to do it. We want you to sign up to receive information, including information night webinar links. This isn't actually registering for kindergarten. This is signing up to receive information. This gives us a full email list of incoming kindergarten parents. And throughout the process, we will email you with information, with reminders about the meetings, with letting you know the dates for the lottery and when you'll hear about the lottery and anything else that happens relative to kindergarten over the next number of months. So on that website, there's a link that says sign up to receive information. If you haven't done that yet, please do. Registration opens tomorrow. You can register tomorrow, you can register February 12th or anytime in between. Those of you who have older siblings and know that you're going to attend a particular school, you can register right away. Those of you who are going to be visiting the other schools on their virtual information nights probably want to wait till the end of that process, which is February 9th. Please make sure you do it by February 12th. In order to register, you're going to need a student birth certificate, and you need to fill out a proof of residency affidavit. And that includes an item, either a mortgage bill or a rent bill or electrical bill, phone bill, all different. There's a list of things that you can provide. You will also need to have a record of your child's immunizations and physical. That needs to be done within 1 year of September 1st, 2021. So if you have their immunization record, you can upload it when you register. If you have a physical since last September, you can upload that. If you have another physical between now and September, you can upload it at that point in time. Our nurses are amazing. Once you're placed in a school, they're going to be going through all those records and contacting folks who we don't have up-to-date physicals from. So upload what you have when you register, and then if you take your child for an updated physical between now and September, just upload it at that time. You can register without having that up-to-date physical yet. You just need to get it in certainly by the time school starts. The lottery will be run in the spring. We're targeting early to mid-May. We place as many students as possible in their first choice school. And it's an automated lottery program, and it will place everybody that can be placed in their first place school. So if we have 60 seats in a school or 55 seats in a school, it'll place up to 55 students in that school. Let's say there's 55 seats and 60 people chose it as their first choice, then 5 people would be placed on the wait list for that school. And those 5 people, we would then go and look at their second choice schools to see if there's room, their third choice schools if necessary, et cetera. So that's how the lottery runs. Love these pictures. You can see some happy kindergartners. We know many families have a need for childcare outside of the school day. We have wonderful programs run by the Acton Boxborough Community Education Department. Community Ed is part of the school district, and there is childcare available in every elementary school. It's available before school from 7 to 8:50, which is when school starts. So you drop your children off for extended day. We don't do bus transportation for extended day. So if you needed care before school, you'd bring your kids to school anytime between 7 and 8:50. And they would be part of that program and go to their classrooms at a little before 8:50. We also have it available after school from 3:20 to 6 p.m. And again, you'd pick your children up at whatever point between 3:20 and 6 p.m. As I said before, we have early release on Wednesdays where school ends at 12:50. The extended day program is available from 12:50 to 6 p.m. So there is an extended day program in each of the 6 schools, and there's also one in the school administration building. The school administration building is on the main school campus, and it's sort of next to the Merriam and McCarthytown elementary schools. And, you know, people love programs in their home school or in the administration building. The administration building has 3 or 4 dedicated classrooms, and kids are grouped by age, by grades. So whereas in the school-based programs, they tend to be more in the cafeteria, and all the kids are kind of in the same location, although they also play outside on the playground and do lots of wonderful activities. So it's community education, extended day, and we have wonderful teachers and really good varied program for all of our kids. If you enroll in extended day, this is just a technical tax thing. You can use your flexible spending account if you have one through your employer. You can use money that's in your flexible spending account for extended day. You cannot use it, however, for all-day kindergarten, because all-day kindergarten is a school program during the school day program, but extended day does qualify. The registration for extended day is going to happen starting June 1st. So we'll have the lottery in the middle of May. You'll get notification about what school your child is going to. And then if you would like to sign up for extended day, you can then enroll on June 1st. And you'll know what school you're in and all of that. There is a website where you can go and also sign up to receive information. So you can either get there from AB Schools by selecting Community Ed, or you can go to this link that's here. By the way, we will send out this presentation as is, the PowerPoint. So any links or any specific information you can reference that way. And we'll also, we're happy to have ActonTV here with us tonight, and they are recording, and we'll be able to send out a recording of the presentation as well. With extended day, students are placed on a space available basis. We can often fit almost everybody. I think the early release day tends to get the most full. All right. Almost done with the presentation, and then we'll be going through the questions. If you have questions, go ahead and put them in the Q&A, and we'll respond to them. So to summarize, make sure you sign up to get links to information night sessions at each school. The info evenings are Tuesday nights starting next week for 3 weeks, again at 6:15 and 7:30. The online registration opens tomorrow. It closes February 12th. The lottery will be held in May. And if you choose all-day kindergarten, the first monthly deposit is due on June 15th. And we'll send out invoices for that. So then what if you don't get your first choice school? Like I said, 95% of people do. There are 15 to 25 families who typically do not. All-day kindergarten, there's no wait list for that anymore. It's available for all students who want it. We do keep wait lists for each school if you don't get your first choice. When you are told your placement, it will also tell you what number you are on the wait list for your first choice school. As I said before, as new families move to town, they're placed in schools that do not have wait lists where there are spaces, and that makes room for students to move to other schools. And we will contact you if a spot opens up in the school of your choice at any point in which that happens. Please remember to enjoy. We want this to be a positive experience for you. Kindergarten, your child will have a wonderful kindergarten experience. You have an opportunity to learn a great deal about all 6 schools and our school district, and as well as the development of 5-year-olds. See how happy the kids are in each of the schools. You can't make a bad choice. When you attend the virtual school information sessions, ask about what makes the faculty and parents the most proud. What roles do parents play in the life of the school? What are the school's goals and improvement plan? Watch and listen to how people relate to one another. You're looking for the best fit for you and your family. Thank you. And I'm going to stop sharing and we will go to the Q&A.
All right. Thank you so much. Try and mute that. I'm not sure if I'm the only one who hears the echo or if it's everyone. It's everyone, huh?
Does anybody have more than one device on?
Sounds like it's fixed.
Well, I muted myself, but I think that's okay now. So I think we're okay.
I can hear you. Yeah.
Better.
So I want to just thank some of our administrators. We've answered about 20 of the questions that have come in already. So it may be helpful for folks in the audience. I know as we answer questions, they do become visible to the audience. So if you want to scroll through the answered questions, we'll continue to try and put answers in as much as possible. But we'll get right to some of these questions. So one question is, we know that there's a form for enrolling from a pre-K program that's out of the district. What happens if a child is not currently enrolled in a pre-K program due to COVID concerns? Is there a form or do they just register?
So I'll start and then I'll turn it to Joe Gibowitz, our early childhood coordinator. But absolutely, you still enroll. That form is just to give us a little bit more information about your little one. Joe, do you want to add?
Sure. Yes, if, as Marie said, if there is the pre-K assessment form as part of registration that we would like to get, but if your child's not in a program, then we can't get one. If they were in a program previously, you could reach out to them and see if they could fill it out based on information that they had pre-pandemic. I know some preschools have already been contacted if their child, if a child was in the program prior to the pandemic. So some private preschools are filling those forms out.
And Joe, just to follow up on that, what if someone wasn't in a private preschool and they don't have access to the pre-assessment form?
Then I wouldn't fill one out because there's no one to provide that information.
Perfect, thank you. So what's the difference between pre-registration and the registration that opens tomorrow? So if I already completed pre-registration, do I need to register again when that opens up on January 20th?
Great question. Okay, there are a couple different things that get a little confusing. So there's one link on the registration website that says provide information so that you're on our contact list. Please fill that out. That's not pre-registration. That's not registration. That's simply to give us some basic information so we can send you emails about kindergarten as things change. We actually call the process pre-registration because you're not actually fully registered until we place you in a school and put you in our student information database. So if the registration process was never actually closed, so we do have some kindergarten families who have already registered, even though we're officially saying it starts tomorrow. So if you went to our website and went to the pre-registration section and went through that whole process, including the residency affidavit and the birth certificate and selecting the 6 schools in order, then that's all you need to do. That's the process. I'm just going to check with our registrar, Karen. Anything more to add to that? Was that all correct?
Sorry, I'm muted. No, that's right. Once you're done with all of that, email me. The email address is at the bottom of that form down there. It's registrar@abschools.org, so that I know that you've done it, and then I'll go look through the form and make sure everything's there and that, you know, everything seems to be filled out correctly. And if we have questions, we'll get back to you.
But it is called pre-registration on the website, right?
It is, you know, we sort of call it pre-registration until everything is signed, sealed, and delivered at the end.
Thank you.
So the next question I can answer, and it says, you know, since we do not know how school will be in 21-22, I'm assuming the same hybrid or remote rules might apply similar to this year. So the answer to that is at this time, we're actually planning for a full return next year. Based on all of the information we have about the course of the pandemic, we believe that planning for a full return is going to be the most appropriate program for our students next year. However, we know that the first rule of this pandemic for us has been that we need to be flexible and that information can change quickly. So we would certainly have backup plans, but no, we are not planning to have hybrid and remote programs next year. We are planning for a full return to school at this point. Next question. Does the registration also include transfer of student from one school to another within the district?
No, you don't go through the registration system to make a transfer request. You email registrar@abschools.org if you want to make a request to transfer from one school to another school. So the registration system is simply for a student who's not enrolled yet to be enrolled. And I'm going to look at Karen. Will you nod? Was that all correct? Yes. Okay. So if you have a child in school already that you want to consider transferring to another school, just email registrar@abschools.org.
Great, thank you. So if you have enough students at one school that want half-day K, will you make a full half-day classroom? Or will it be hybrid regardless of the numbers that want the half-day program?
Yep, so we wait till we get the final numbers in to decide for sure. But yes, if we had a full class of half-day students at a school, we would run a complete half-day classroom.
All right. Next question. We know that we need to provide students medical records, including the school health record form and certification of immunizations. But in the pandemic, we are not comfortable to make an appointment with our doctor for an exam. So the latest physical record is from 2019. And in the record, we have the physical exam result and immunization records. Can we provide the 2019 records, or do we need to update these before the year?
Go ahead, Diane. Thank you.
Thank you for the question. I can understand why you'd be concerned. I'll say 2 things on this matter. First of all, if you haven't already, check with your child's primary care provider. Many practices have already taken your concerns into consideration, and they see ill children at one facility and do well checks at another facility. So they may be able to ameliorate your fears, but if they're unable to do so, the requirements that the state give us in a regular year is that they understand it's difficult to get appointments. You have 30 days from the beginning of school to have an updated physical that is within, the 12 months. This year, because of the pandemic, the State Department of Public Health extended that to 90 days after the start of school. So again, we can't say what the Department of Public Health will do next year, but in a regular year, you have 30 days from the start of school to have that updated physical. And again, talk with your doctor's practice. I bet you they'll be able to reassure you with accommodations they've made.
Thank you, Diane. So next question. Last year, we registered our son for the district's kindergarten program. However, we decided to defer enrollment for a year because he would be relatively young for his grade. Because of this, will we need to upload all of the documents again and go through the whole registration process?
Karen, do you want to answer that?
So in a nutshell, you will have to complete a new registration, but because you're already in the system, a lot of the information from last year will pop back up. What you need to do is go into the, online pre-registration, following all the links that you'll find on the website, and then click add a student and add your child. Even if they're already in there, add them in again, because last year's file has been sealed and we can't unseal it. So you have to add them in as if they're a new student. And then fill it out. A lot of the information will pop back up. Some of the information in there, like a birth certificate, doesn't have an end date. So, if we can access those, you're all set with those. But for any of them that are time sensitive or the ones that are to prove residency, that kind of thing, we'll need new ones.
Great, thank you. If we register for all day K, is it possible to switch to half day later when school starts or in the middle of the year?
So the answer to that is it depends. So if you're in a school where there's a dedicated half-day classroom and you're in the half-day classroom, so I guess it's all day. Yeah, if you're in an all-day classroom and all the half-day students are in a separate classroom, we don't move kids between classrooms in the middle of the year. So you would not be able to drop out of all day into half-day. If you're in a hybrid classroom, you might be able to do that in consultation with the teacher. We try not to make a lot of changes once school starts, but in extreme circumstances, sometimes we'll allow that. You'd work with the principal on that.
Great. Next one, say there are, two friends from the pre-K program and they wind up at the same school. What's the likelihood that they could be in the same classroom?
How about one of our principals take this one?
Hi. I'd say if there's 2 kindergarten classrooms, you got a 50-50 shot. And if there's 3 kindergarten classrooms, you have a 33 and the 3rd% shot. When we're building kindergarten, it might happen, but when we're building kindergarten classrooms, we're trying to make the best balanced classes we can. If we know about a good, healthy friendship, you could always let us know, and that's something we can keep an eye out for, but it's nothing we could ever guarantee, but there's always a chance.
Great. If we choose to homeschool, do we fill out the form or only a program?
Deb, do you want to take that?
Sure. So I think the question is, if we homeschool, do we fill out the form? I think John's answering it at the moment. I think the question then is if we're homeschooling right now for kindergarten, because this is for kindergarten, or is it homeschooling for pre-K?
I think the question is if they were going to homeschool next year, would they have to fill out the registration form, or is that a different process?
That's a different process, and they can contact me and my office, and we will help them through that process.
Great, thank you.
Thanks.
Are there any restrictions on a child repeating kindergarten?
How about one of our principals?
So the idea in coming to kindergarten is that you would expect that your child would be participating for the year. If you have concerns about whether kindergarten is a good fit for this year, I would encourage you to talk to the preschool and maybe meet with the principal prior to the school year beginning. But generally the idea is that one would begin the kindergarten year and at the end of the year proceed to first grade. So if your child is very young or if there's some lagging skills, it would be worth a conversation to see whether it's good to start this upcoming year or to defer to the following year.
Great, thank you.
Let me just add a little bit. If anyone is unsure about whether or not to send their kids to kindergarten, we generally go by the age. So if they're going to be 5 by September 1st, you would enroll them in kindergarten. If for some extenuating circumstance you really are unsure or you think they might not be ready, you could email our registrar. She'll put you in touch with Joe Gibowitz. Joe is our early childhood coordinator. He'd be happy to talk through it with you, to talk through any previous preschool experience, that kind of thing. And then once they're in kindergarten, almost all our kids then go on to first grade. I think that was part of the question, was retention in kindergarten. It does not happen very often. And it would only happen with you working with the teacher and the principal and really identifying some concerns that would make that something to be considered, but it's very rare.
So I would jump in too, if I could, just say, Joe's our expert on early childhood development, but I think that any one of the principals would be happy to sit down and talk with families about this if they're unsure about what the next steps might be for their child.
And I'll just add one more thing. With the pandemic, nobody had a full year of school this year. Nobody had a full year of preschool. So all of our kids, we're going to be meeting them where they are on the first day of school next year and working with all of them and bringing them forward, and they're going to do great. But it isn't like if they didn't have a full year of something this year, they're not going to be ready for kindergarten next year. That's just not where we're going to be.
Great. So Marie, I know you have the answer to this one ready with a good statistical data point. What's your expectation for enrollment in kindergarten next year? Are you expecting more 6-year-olds than normal due to the pandemic?
So that is such an important question. I'm going to bump it to the superintendent because it's above my pay grade.
So, in all honesty, I think we really don't know quite what to expect for kindergarten enrollment this year. I do believe we will have some higher numbers than what we saw this past year. For the current year, we did see a dip in kindergarten enrollment with some people electing to keep kids home. We don't yet know from all of those families whether or not they elected to homeschool their children and they'll be going into first grade, or whether or not they elected to defer kindergarten enrollment. So that is a process that's going to have to play out through this kindergarten pre-registration and registration process, and it's certainly something we're watching closely.
Thank you, Peter. Let me just say, what I did not say in the presentation was how many classrooms we're going to have next year for this very reason. We really need to see how many kids enroll, and then we'll establish the correct number of classrooms for that number of students. So it is a little unpredictable. We don't always know how many 5-year-olds there are in the community anyway, because they're not already with us. And then we do know some withheld this year and that kind of thing. So we will set the right number of classrooms based on however many kids register.
Great. And I'm going to ask a follow-up question to that. So my child is a late summer kid. And if we register now, but for any reason COVID is not getting better over the course of the year, would she be able to transfer to the program next year? In other words, defer a year and then enroll?
So our recommendation is that kids go by their age, but in any given year, we'll have a handful of families who feel that way and might withdraw their students. So it would basically be a withdrawal, and then you would re-register next year. It's not really a transfer to next year, but you're already in the system. So next year you would register again. So if you have questions about that, talking to Joe Gibowitz or Deborah Bookus, or even one of the principals to kind of talk through that, getting a recommendation from a preschool teacher if the child is in preschool this year. But almost particularly this year, we feel like bring the kids in and put them in kindergarten, and we're going to really work with all the students we get at the level they come in.
Great, thank you. So next question, how are gifted children handled? If a child is significantly ahead of their peers, what does the school do?
One of the principals or Deborah?
Sure. So I'll start. There's a question further down too that asks if there are gifted child programs at any or all the schools. So maybe we can answer both of those questions at the same time. We don't have specific gifted child programs. I think, again, working with the principal, looking at your child, what their specific needs are, and creating opportunities for them to continue learning along their own progression is really what we strive for. As a former kindergarten teacher in the district and first and second grade teacher, we see a wide range of learners, and pretty much for them, we are able to meet our students' needs. So I can certainly throw it to any one of the other principals who might like to also respond.
Yeah, I think this comes up pretty regularly from year to year. We try to incorporate enrichment and extension opportunities where applicable. I think we find that when we enter these discussions with families, we take a look at the whole child, both social, emotionally, developmentally, academically, behaviorally. And, we look for areas where we can help incorporate some of the strengths that an individual may have, but also always seem to find areas where it might be helpful to be in the environment with students from their current grade, and be able to understand that having those experiences and interactions with students from multiple backgrounds of different developmental levels actually is a benefit to everybody.
Great, thank you. So Diane, I think you mentioned this before, but what is the due date for the immunizations and physical record again?
Before the immunizations, the state supports, no entry without a complete vaccine record. So even over the course of the summer, we will work with the enrollees to make sure their families are set. The physical, again, we have historically 30 days from the start of school to have an updated physical, but we need to have at least the old one. It was 90 days this year, but we're not expecting that to be continued into the new year.
Great, thank you. This is a good one, and I see Damien, you might be typing a bit of an answer, but I'm gonna just ask this one out loud because I think it comes up a lot. What if the bus stop is 8 or 10 minutes from the house from a walk? Is there enough flexibility in the busing program to pick up outside someone's house?
I was just typing away.
I thought you would.
Yeah, it's I think you've heard this a couple of times. It really depends on the location of the home, the surroundings, the roads that you live on. It is not necessarily a guarantee that there will be a bus stop right at your house if you have a safe walk, and we have criteria for a safe bus stop, and we vet them all thoroughly. And I would say to some degree, bus stops do migrate a bit with kindergarten age children. But again, I don't want you to leave here thinking that that there is a guarantee that you will have a bus stop right outside your front door. It just depends on how safe it is. A 10-minute walk, it would probably be a little bit far for a kindergarten student, but again, it depends on the situation. And once you're enrolled, Every child will be routed on a bus route, and every one of those stops will be vetted by our staff.
Great. Here's just a general question. Can we download a copy of this Q&A and be able to make it available for families?
I don't know, Peter, do you?
I have not done a webinar where we've done that, so I am not sure. I believe we can after, and we will certainly try to do that. But I don't want to promise something if I'm not 100% sure. Do kindergartners get homework?
No.
Our homework policy doesn't have our kindergartners assigned homework. However, there are often some family engaging activities for students to do at home that just connects their school learning to their home environment.
Great, thank you. If my child attended a private kindergarten and is closer to 6 years old, 5 years and 10 months, are they eligible to apply to first grade instead of repeating kindergarten if we can provide the assessment from the previous school? So it sounds like they will be.
One more time.
So if my child, if my child is going to be just under 6 years old, say 5 years and 10 months, but attended a private kindergarten, can they skip to first grade or do they attend kindergarten?
I'm sorry, we're very strict about the age. You can't go ahead. So no, they would need to enroll in kindergarten.
Okay. And what is the overall homework policy for elementary school? The person's understanding was that there was no homework through 6th grade.
There's no homework assigned from K2 and then 3, 4 there occasionally, and then it continues to build into 5, 6 more frequently in grades 5 through 6. And so it's a progression of time. And what we really strive for is for it to be very meaningful homework for students to be able to, again, extend their learning, practice their learning from the school experience. But the only grades that don't have regularly assigned homework is K2. Again, those are just family engaging kinds of activities. And then it becomes more frequently assigned in grades 3, 4, and then 5, 6 for homework.
Okay, thank you. The next one I'll take, and it's a question around what are some of the precautions the schools will be taking this fall, knowing COVID will still be around. So a couple of things, we have a lot more information we still need to learn about the course of the virus, and it does change rapidly. I don't know that we will have children with access to vaccines yet in the fall. I think they're just starting some of the medical trials now. So we know that, children's medical trials typically take longer than adult medical trials too. So we're still trying to stay tuned for that. A couple of things, one of the top areas that we did was to think about the learning environments people are in most. So we really focused on our HVAC system and making sure there was adequate ventilation in all of our classrooms. Our classrooms have MERV 13 air filters in every room, which is the highest grade that's recommended for school settings. We also make sure that we have an appropriate number of air exchanges per hour, and we installed a HEPA air purifier in every space in our schools now as of this winter. We also are likely to think that we could be masked at the start of the school year, but we're still waiting to hear more information on that. But I do think that that's likely at this point. Distancing is something that we're going to be looking at as we learn a little bit more throughout the summer. If we do return all students to school, which is our current plan, student distancing would likely be around 3 feet, which is the current recommendation that we're hearing from the state to be able to work toward. We're currently at 6 feet right now because the pandemic is still going very strong. But I believe it's likely we'll be looking at 3 feet of distance for next year. So those are the major, precautions that we have now and will be continuing in the fall, but we will have more information that comes out as we progress toward the start of the school year. So, will the COVID vaccine be mandatory for students once it's available? I apologize if it's already been answered. Diane, do you want to answer that?
I could try. I could try. I'm hearing some artifact. I'm sorry, I don't have anything going on in the back. But again, the district wouldn't be likely deciding that. That would be the Department of Public Health, the school health unit, that would be deciding if that were mandated or not. Again, as Peter, as you said, they're just beginning the trials as far as the vaccine safety and efficacy with children. So I think that remains to be seen. And I really would only be speculating at this point, but it wouldn't come from us, from AB. I believe it would be coming, from the state. And yes, that's about all I would conjecture on that point.
Great. So what is the school thinking about in terms of waiting for equal vaccination opportunity for all adults before removing the remote option? If the rollout of vaccines continues to be much slower expected, not all parents and caretakers would be able to be vaccinated by the fall. So, the current thinking I think that we have is that the viral transmission rates among students are extremely low when compared with adults. And the younger the child, the lower the viral transmission rate. So our plan right now is to return to full education program. But as I said, we are watching the vaccine rollout carefully, and we're going to watch information coming from the state very carefully. We have not heard any information coming from the state about expectations for next year. But I do know that as we get vaccines, we would be hoping to begin bringing people back as of this year. So we're just going to have to stay tuned in terms of any remote option for the fall, but the current planning is to have all students back with us. All right, and I think we are at 8:20, and we just had one more question pop up. Do kindergarten students from one school interact with kindergarten students from other schools? So I can go ahead on that one. So outside of school, they may very well, but during the school day, there are really, the students interact with other students within their school environment. Possibly the exception to that could be on the buses. I know Parker Damon Building certainly shares buses, and some of our other schools may be sharing buses as well, in which case some of the kindergarten students would have some interactions. But outside of that, it's really limited to the school.
At the Parker Damon, where they share a building, there might be, sorry, I don't know why I echoed. They might be on the playground at the same time, they might be in the cafeteria at the same time, and they might not be. It's hard to know. So eventually with Gates and Douglas, that could happen as well.
Great. So I think the last one was just a question if we were tracking parents as well as students who had been diagnosed. We are not tracking parents, and that would be outside the scope of our jurisdiction as a school district. So no, we don't do that, and it's not something that we would have the ability to do. But what we do know from a school standpoint, we have no cases, and we do extensive contact tracing for any COVID cases that come in this year. You can go to our district website, and we have a transition to school website that you can go to that has all of our public health metrics, and we report publicly on all of our cases, so you can have a sense of what's happening in our schools. We have 0 cases of known in-school transmission this year. We had one early case that we suspected, but we also had a substantial amount of information that came in later that caused us to believe it may not have been transmitted in school as well. So, and there were no cases in which there was student-to-student transmission or student-to-adult transmission within the school. So we feel pretty confident with that. Is there a transition plan for students who get placed in Gates or Douglas once the new school is ready in 2022? So the students who get placed in Gates and Douglas would actually just begin the school year in 2022 in the new building. We do not believe that there's going to be much opportunity to transfer into those schools. So if people are looking at, that new building, kindergarten would be the year to, try and go into those schools. And I see maybe Kate one last time. This has come up a few times, and I know we put it in the chat, but since it's being asked another time, what is the cost for extended day?
Sure, yeah. Oh, I've answered it. Can you guys hear me? Is this,
Yep.
That's better. Okay. So we are working out next year's fees, and we're putting all that information together. It will be on our website. I have been giving parents kind of what we charged last year just to give them some idea. 5 p.m. days per month was $525. And if you were doing AM and PM 5 days a week for the month, it was $615. So I think that's a good way for parents to get some idea of what next year's fees will look like. And we will put them on our website along with all of the other registration materials as soon as those are ready. I just also wanted to announce, since I have the floor, our open house will be on February 10th, which is a Wednesday night right after the last kindergarten meeting. And it will be a Zoom meeting just like this. And so there'll be much more detailed information about extended day. And that Zoom link will be posted on the community education website.
Great, thank you, Kate. Marie, I don't know if you have anything to add as we're closing up here, but I think we're done with questions and answers for the night, and we will try to download these. We just have to make sure the technology supports that. But provided we can download the Q&A, we'll make sure that it will be available to families.
No, Peter, I don't have anything to add. Thanks everyone on our team for your thoughtful contributions, and to those who attended, thank you. And we look forward to working with you and your children in the fall.
Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We hope this was an informative session for you. Thank you to all of our team of administrators, nurses, transportation personnel, Kate, extended day. I think we're all very, very excited to welcome your students next year, and we hope you have a productive few weeks taking a look at our schools, and have a good night, everyone.